Hello class, this is a video tutorial on calculating the radius or the diameter of a circle given a circumference. So I've drawn up here just two circles with a radius r and a diameter d, and we've learned in previous videos that the circumference is calculated using the radius via this formula. Circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. Or we can use the diameter, which is just circumference equals pi times the diameter. In this video, I'd like to highlight again that the value of pi is equal to 3.14159, and the decimals just keep going on and on and on. But the main important thing that we need to learn in this video is that pi, even though it's a symbol like that, this symbol, it's actually equal to a never-ending decimal value, 3.14159, and on and on and on. But let's get to some examples. In the first example, I'm going to demonstrate how to find both the radius and the diameter using both of these formula. Here we go. Let's start first with the diameter. So we'll be using this formula here. Circumference equals pi times d, or we can just leave it as pi d, like so. Now, in order for us to solve or find the value of d, we need to substitute the value of the circumference we are given. So we're being told that this circumference is 37.7 millimeters. So let's substitute this value for c, because c is equal to that. So we substitute that value into there, is equal to pi times the diameter. Now, what we have here is actually an equation. We need to solve this equation for the value of d. Now, how do we get rid of this pi? How can we eliminate this pi? Well, what we can do, since pi is equal to a number, we can actually divide. We can divide out that value, like so. We can divide by the value of pi. Now, since we divide by pi on this side, we're going to be dividing by pi on this side as well. So what ends up happening is the value of d, these cancel out, and the value of d remains, which is what we want. And now we just need to input this value into our calculator. Here we are. So we get 37.7 divided by pi, which will give us 12.002827, and so on, so on, so on. But I'm just going to take that value because look how many decimal places there are. Those are insignificant to us. We'll just take the whole value of 12. Yep, so the diameter of this circle is 12. Just let me flip this around. So diameter is equal to 12 millimeters. Now at this point, I'd like to demonstrate that we can use the circumference also to calculate the radius of this circle. So let's first utilize and write this equation down. C is equal to 2 pi r. And what we're going to be doing again is substituting the value of 37.7 once again. So C is equal to 37.7. So we substitute this value into our equation here. So we get 37.7 is equal to 2 pi r. Similarly now, just as we divided by divided by pi here, in order to have d by itself, in this equation we want to make r by itself. So how we do that is we divide out not just pi, but 2 pi. And since we divide by that value on the right hand side, we're going to divide also by 2 pi on the left hand side. The 2's cancel and the pi cancels, which leaves us with r by itself. And what we can do here now is the same thing. 37.7 divided by 2 pi. It gives us 6.00. As you can see, it's actually exactly half. So let me fix that. Radius is equal to 6 millimeters. There we are. So these are the two methods we can use derived from the two original formulas. Now I'm going to show you another method that we can use to find either of these. So for this one, I will only be using the radius equation. Here we are. So C is equal to 2 pi r. We substitute this value into our circumference, so 25.13 equals 2 pi r. We want to isolate r by itself, so we want r to be by itself. So we divide by 2 pi on both sides of the equation. There we are. This will make it so that r is by itself. These 2 and the pi cancel. Use our calculator to calculate. 25.13 divided by 2 pi is equal to 3.9995. Let me just write that in. 3.9995. As you can see, it's actually so close to the number 4, which is what I'm actually going to be doing. I'm going to round this value up so that it is 4 centimeters. Now, this is the radius. Since we know that the diameter is twice the length of the radius, we can easily calculate the diameter to be 2 times the radius, which is 2 times 4, which is what we've calculated. So it's just 8 centimeters. Do you see how we don't need to use both equations to calculate the radius or the diameter? We can just use one and find the other value from it. I'll demonstrate that in this one, in this last example. In this last example, I'm going to find the radius from the diameter formula. So, substituting our circumference into the correct letter, so we get C equals 32.99. So we substitute 32.99 equals pi d, dividing both sides by pi. That way we can eliminate the value of pi on the right hand side so that the diameter is by itself, d, and we just use our calculator to resolve this problem. 32.99 divided by pi, which gives us 10.501, but I'm just rounding it off to 10.5. Now, since we know that the radius is equal to half of the diameter, so we can just, since we've calculated the diameter to be 10.5, the radius must be half of this, which is 5.25. And once again, since there's no value here, there's no units, we're just going to leave it at units. So So I hope that gives you an insight on how to calculate the value of the radius or the diameter given a circumference. Best of luck.